All right, so the first project is on a family budget, and I've opened the document on the screen called Family Budget. Uh, and the description here has information about this particular family, the Davidsons. And so when you scroll through it, you'll see their background information, a lot of data that has to do with their finances, and will also include their goals. So the very first thing you should do for this project is to read through it. Read through this information one time, and then you'll have an idea of what's in here. And when you need the information, you'll kind of know where to come back through it. So there's 1 through 7 here items to go over. Your job is to help them improve their finances, so get their cash flow into the positive and also meet their goals. So that starts with understanding where their budget is at right now. So that's after you've read through it, you have an idea what's there, build a status quo budget. So that's their current finances. And you want to enter that into the spreadsheet. So, for example, we know what his payroll deductions here are. There will be a spot on the spreadsheet to enter those in. Down here, this is what the cable bill is, so you'll enter that in. And you'll put everything into the spreadsheet as it is currently, and that will be the status quo budget. That will take some time. If you do that correctly, you'll see that they have a net cash flow of negative $293.05. If you're not getting that exact value, there's something entered incorrectly. So if you get to that point and you're close but you're not quite there, an easy thing to do would be to send me your spreadsheet. So email me your spreadsheet, and I can go in and look at it, and probably much quicker than you can figure out where the error might be. So you don't have to, try every single value over again. But that's what the net cash flow should be at the beginning, negative $293.05, which is obviously not great. And they're also not meeting a number of their financial goals. So you will go in then and tweak their budget, make suggestions about what they can, maybe take out of their budget or reduce in their budget, and also shift some funds over to meet their savings goals and paying off debt, that kind of thing. All right, so that will make more sense when you get into it. But you start with having a completed current financial picture, their status quo budget. Making the adjustments, here's some suggestions of what to look at. What are the problem areas? What do you think looks bad? Like where does it look like they're spending too much money, or areas where they could be spending less if they made some different choices? You can take anything out as long as it's reasonable. And so obviously reasonable is subjective here. There's not one right answer, but try to be reasonable with your suggestions. So you can't just say we're going to eliminate the food budget. Obviously people need to eat. And maybe you might want to suggest to reduce their food budget down to almost nothing. Well, you can't do that either. You need to have a certain amount of money just for basic living. So try to make your suggestions reasonable. Note where they're going to be in the spreadsheet, and then after you've made all the adjustments that you can, the cash flow should be above 0 or at 0. You can make it exactly equal to 0 and then just shift whatever's left over into savings. And as long as all the family goals are met and the cash flow is 0, you've done your job. Then I want you to write up your recommendations. So what are the things that you changed, and why did you change them, and why is what you did reasonable? And so you're going to do that in the form of a letter to the Davidson family in which you explain your recommended changes. So looking for about 3 paragraphs here. All right, so that's in a nutshell the assignment. The document that I just had is right here under Project 1, And the spreadsheet that you need here is this 4A activity spreadsheet. Let me open that up so you can see it. Okay, this is what it'll look like when you open it up, and it's in Microsoft Excel. So if you're familiar with Microsoft Excel, this won't be any trouble for you. You're simply entering in data here from the project description. So let's say here under salary, maybe, I don't remember what it was, but let's say it was like $55,000 a year. You would type that number in here. The total rows, so all of these bold total rows, you don't enter anything in there. Those will be calculations that are done automatically. You just enter into the blank cells. For those of you who are not familiar with working with Microsoft Excel or spreadsheets, these rectangular blocks we call cells, and you can enter anything into them. If you enter numbers, Excel will know it's a number, and you can use them to do calculations. So for example, here, if I click on this cell here, it's telling me to add up the cells from C5 to C6. So sum everything from C5 to C6. So this is row 5, this is row 6, this is column C, so this is C5 to C6 right here. All right, so some of it is fairly intuitive and straightforward. Some things I'm sure will be a little bit of a mystery. If you run into any problems with Excel, don't hesitate to reach out and I can give you a quick tutorial on what you need to know. The first thing with Excel is making sure you have it and have access to it. Everybody does have access to Microsoft Excel, and you can get to it if you go to your webmail and you go to the waffle in the upper left corner. You should be able to download Microsoft Excel from there. If you need more instructions on getting the program, let me know and I'll help you with that as well. All right, so let me just recap here what you're doing now that you've seen the spreadsheet. Read through to learn about what the family has going on in terms of their finances. Then build their status quo budget. So use all the data in here to plug into these columns. Now, importantly, when you do that, you want to enter in monthly. So I put in here, kind of unfortunately, 55,000. That's I was thinking is their yearly salary. So no, I would want to make it more of a monthly salary. So let me make it 5,000. Right? So it's got to be its monthly value. So just like in homework problems in the class examples or quiz problems in the class examples, you have to make the units of measurement monthly, and so you might have to convert some of them. Some things will be given to you on an annual basis. Some things will be given to you directly monthly, but you'll have to do some calculation for a few of these in order to get it in right. All right, so you get your status quo budget, and at the end it says negative $293.05 per month. So that will be the value right here. The monthly cash flow should be negative $293.05 to start. Right now it's $5,000 because all I've entered in is $5,000 in monthly salary. Then make your adjustments. And I would recommend, what might be a good idea here is to, on your spreadsheet, make a copy of this. So you have one copy that's the original with all the original numbers, and you can have a second copy that you edit and you change cells. And maybe what would even be extra smart to do would be to, when you edit those cells, when you change the number, you could change the color. So then you'll have a better way to remember what you did. So let's say I changed the salary here from what it was to $5,000. If I make the text of that red, then I'll know, okay, I changed that one. How do you make a duplicate? Well, if you come down to the tab, this is the template for us to work with. If you come down to the tab and right-click or control-click if you're on a Mac, you can bring up this little menu, and one of them is move or copy. and I can create a copy of that exact sheet. And so now I have two versions of it here, and you can make, name one. So let's say this will be the status quo budget, and then this one will be your recommendations. All right, so you've got your status quo budget, you've got your recommendations. Keep making changes until you get them into a positive or zero cash flow and met their goals. Once you're there, the job is to write up the changes that you made in the form of a letter to the Davidson family. 3 paragraphs. When you have that done, you're done, and you can post your answers over here in the project submission. So you can submit your work here straight through Moodle. And this is due on Monday. So hopefully you'll be able to work on this mostly independently since I'm away. If not, I can try to help you over Zoom at various points. And if that doesn't work, let me know, and we'll arrange a time to talk about it next week, and I'll extend the deadline if needed, so that you can get any help that you need on the project. So please don't hesitate to reach out with questions, and good luck working on the first project.